There's another story on the Blaze that I think is very, very important, and it is this like 100-pound lobster that has just been pulled out of the sea. And we were talking about it, and Stu thinks it's a very weird line that we have drawn that you wouldn't eat that 100-pound lobster because it's old or special or, unique in some way or another.
Right, like once we assign it a personality, all of a sudden we stop eating it. I don't understand that philosophy. Either you eat these animals or you don't.
I'd eat it. If it tasted good at 100 pounds, which I'm finding out now they probably don't, but if it did, that's just that'd be a great meal for like.
Yeah, see, it's a 21-pound lobster, but it is as big as this woman's torso. It's bigger. The tail goes to the top of her head, and if that thing was flat, it would go almost to her knees. I mean, look at that picture. It's incredible.
21 pounds.
21 pounds. Oh, can you imagine the dipping butter? Oh, you could put your whole head in the butter trough.
Well, and honestly, lobster is nothing but a butter delivery system anyway. I mean, it's your only excuse to eat dip things in melted butter.
That's a big part of it, but there's more to it.
No, there is.
That's sweet, succulent meat.
Oh, it's so good. It is so good. And it is so creepy. You look at lobsters and you're like, first of all, the people that found lobsters and decided to eat them had to be wildly starving.
Jackie and I have wondered how that ever happened.
I think clams and lobster,
nasty, and snails and all that
stuff. It
had
to be somebody who was so hungry. No, it was somebody on some island. They were shipwrecked, and they're like, "Me got eat," and they went and they ate the snail or the lobster. I got to eat this big bug. I either eat Bill or the bug. I'm going to start with the bug, and if it's not too good, I'm going to eat Bill, but I'm not going to tell Bill that. That's what happened.
And then the lobster, the big bug, turned out to be
and
pretty
they're like,
tasty.
Bill,
He's like,
I was
wow.
never thinking about eating you. Come on over here. You got to try one of these bugs. That's exactly what that had to have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they, then they were rescued, and they were like, and one of them, Bill said to the other one, "Don't tell everybody we're eating bugs." And the other one like, "No, I could open up like a restaurant. A restaurant. Nobody wants these bugs. They're cheap. We could just open up a restaurant with this cheap food, and we'll make it like something really special and exotic and charge an arm and a leg for it." No offense on the arm and a leg thing. I know we did consider your arm and your leg, but we'll charge an arm and a leg for it. Wouldn't that be great? And so Bill and the other guy who was thinking about eating Bill was like, "Let's not tell everybody that we were thinking about eating each other, because Bill, you were thinking about eating me." And we'll tell we were never close to cannibalism. We found these bugs right away.
You've really redrawn this history for me.
That's probably what happened. Come on.
It had to be. Look at the thing. Why would you eat
you go into a place? Would you ever? How hungry do you have to be for a quarter-pound spider to come crawling out of the jungle and you go, harpoon that thing, let's cook it up and eat it?
Yeah, really hungry.
Really hungry.
Or on a game show.
Right. And then you get home. And you're like, you know what? We're going to send a boat back. And we're gonna go harvest those spiders, because we can boil the hair right off them, and then we just take out the eat and don't. You know what? If you suck on the legs a little bit, I mean, nobody would do that. That's what this is. It's a sea spider.
Yeah, and it's the ugliest animal probably that humans eat, and it's really the only one we put on display in full form. Like, you don't have chickens walking around the restaurant when you walk in. Like,
I have eaten at restaurants where
it's possible. Yeah. But you typically don't have like the animal getting ready to be killed walking around the restaurant.
Well, you've never said, "I'll take that one." You never look at it.
Never.
I've been at a place where there has been a live chicken, and you're like, "I'm going to have the chicken," and then you hear,
where the hell were you when that happened?
It's when I went and did a USO tour, and I was over in Italy.
Okay, well, this is America. Speak American.
Italy is not. Italy has the gap. Italy is America. Come
on. Talking first world here, Glenn.
Yeah.
Italy is. Well, it's what time is it?
Yeah, no. It's down to fourth world. No, I mean, that's obviously way out of the mainstream, though. I mean, like, the very mainstream experience.
But you never went, and you never would go, "I'll take that chicken."
Yeah, I'll take that.
When it comes to the ickiest, is it the ickiest animal we eat? Is there another one that we look at? And I mean, pigs are disgusting.
Well,
pigs, somebody killed out of anger. Pigs were like, "You stink. I hate you." And then they like, "I'm going to kill you and throw you on a fire." And then they threw them in the fire, and then it was like, that kind of smells good. What do you say? Hold on. Put him out for a second. Let him cook for just a little bit longer. Well, let's eat that thing.
Well,
Put an apple in its mouth. That's tasty. That's what happened with a pig.
Well, it seems. I mean, a lot of religions don't eat them. I mean, there's like
I know, but somebody was
disgusting.
like, "Well, of course
they're like
you
there's-
needed God to tell you not to eat a pig. Really, you needed God to tell you the poop on a pig was enough to say don't eat this animal."
Mm-hmm.
But we were like, we were. Somebody was so desperate. They're like, "No, put it on a fire, cook the poop off it. It's going to be tasty."
And in there somewhere is bacon. Seriously?
There's someplace in there. There is crispy bacon. That's what happened.
But you seriously don't go in any other experience and go in and pick an individual thing you're about to eat and then boil it alive.
Okay, hang on just a second. Wait a minute. Let's go back.
We hate lobster.
Let's go back to nobody. You're hungry enough to figure out a spider, and you're like, okay, I'm going to eat the spider. But nobody could ever then go back in polite society and convince us that spiders are so good, you have to have one. And then make them so mainstream that, like, crappy restaurants are, like, serving it. Like, where you're like, hey, it's the blue spider. It's not.
Well, can you imagine walking into a restaurant and just seeing a giant tank of spiders, and then you just like, I want that
and it's
furry
called
one.
the blue spider. It's like the blue spider.
Yeah.
Hey, where are you going this Friday night? Blue spider. Oh, I don't want to go to the blue spider again. Nobody would ever do that.
Nobody would go.
Nobody would go. So what is it about? Is it the lack of hair on a lobster?
In part, yes, and that it comes from the sea rather than, underneath your flooring.
You know what this lobster is full of? You know what made this meat? Other fish poop. This for the 21 pounds, it's got to be about 80 or 100 years old. So for 100 years, this lobster's seen a lot. Yeah, this lobster's seen a lot of fish poop. They're walking around in all the fish poop and going, that looks tasty. Oh, that'll make some sweet meat. Oh. Yeah. There's something wrong.
Yeah, it's
something wrong with us.
There's a weird formula going on there with lobster.
You know what also it is? Spiders and lobsters don't have a face.
Well, I think lobsters have a face. It's just a really creepy looking face.
Yeah, I know, but you don't really look at the face.
But this is
it's
what's
like spiders. You don't really look at the face either.
No.
So you don't get attached to them.
But this is what's odd.
Nobody's like, oh, that sweet little lobster. Well, of course there are. There are freaks that do that.
But this is what's completely inconsistent about it. There's no reason you shouldn't have eaten Wilbur. Just because he had a friend who was a spider who wrote the word humble in a web does not mean you should not have eaten them. You either eat them or you don't eat them.
No, you know what pisses me off about Charlotte's Web while we're here?
I love that movie.
Eat the damn pig, protect the spider. It's not the pig.
Yeah, what the hell?
It was the spider. The spider could write.
Yeah.
The damn pig stood around smelling like pig poop.
Yeah.
Protect the spider. Everybody just misses. Oh my gosh, what a special pig. There was nobody smart enough in that town, in that state fair to go, it's the spider.
I would even argue that the rat was more impressive. He went and got words and paper and knew they were words and brought them back. What did the pig do? He sat there and took a couple, he flipped occasionally. Big deal. You got a spider writing a freaking magnum opus up in a web. And
the rat going out and trying to get food and, words.
Right, this is a whole process going on just to serve this stupid pig.
I'm ready to have some bacon.
I think you feed the pig to the spider. Certainly feed the pig to the rat.
Well, the rat was never known, but the spider clearly was. You can't blame the people in town for not knowing about the rat.
That's just
the spider.
You know what? They should have known.
The spider was.
Just like Joe Paterno, they should have known about the rat.
Let me tell you something. And that damn spider, that had enough babies all parachuting like paratroopers.
Mm-hmm.
That spider should have spent 10 minutes. That spider could have taken over the world. He could have said, Charlotte could have said, listen to me, before you all parachute out, let me tell you something. These people are so stupid. I put one word up in a web, and look they're all like trained zombies worshiping this pig. You listen to me, and in about 4 days, because you're all going to have a baby in about a day, in about 4 days, we control the world. It is Spider Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's the sequel.
Because they'll never eat us.
The sequel to Charlotte's Web is Kingdom of the Spiders. People don't realize that.
What's Kingdom of the Spiders?
With William Shatner.
Well, I never saw Kingdom of the Spiders.
It was a devastating movie in which Charlotte had all her babies. They flew around, and eventually they multiplied and then they attacked all the people in this town, and eventually the movie ends, and I don't want to give it away, but it happened in like the 1970s. They webbed the entire town. The entire town was
I hate
a
when
web.
that happens.
It happens all the time.
It happened in 3 towns in Texas last week alone.
3. Wow.
3 Texas
I don't even
cities.
want to talk
The
about
media
it.
won't
I'm
even
so
report
broken up
that.
now.
No, they don't.